Hey guys, it's Dr. Sam Robbins. Today you're going to discover what body size or what body part correlates best to penis size based on a recent study. And no, it's not your height and it's not the size of your hands or feet. And also reveal how you can actually grow your penis at any age, whether it's a length, your size, and including your hardness, if that's something you're interested in. And I'm also going to reveal, what hormones actually cause penis growth, what determines penis size, which hormones, and also what causes the penis to shrink as we get older, and of course, how you can grow the penis as an adult. So that's the good news. Personally, I think all this stuff is super interesting because genetics aside, your hormones control so much on how you look and feel. And yes, that includes penis size. So here's something personal. I'm a big guy. I've got big hands. I've got big feet. I'm 6'3". And women have commented, my size and hands and feet, whether joking around, they're always like, oh man, you must be big. You must be huge. I'll like shake a guy's hand. He's like, dude, you got to be over 8 or 9 inches, bro, man. You're big. All this stuff. And as cool as that sounds, it puts a little stress on me, or a lot of stress, because women now expect me to have this giant penis, right? Because again, big hands, big feet, and I'm tall. And so their expectations are higher. And sometimes I think, like, when I get naked or whatever, they're like, oh, I thought that thing was going to be like 10 inches. This is like, I'm like, dude, I'm still above normal, but whatever. Um, and my point is with the expectations, if the guy's like a short 5'4", he's got small hands, they don't expect much. So if the guy's just average, you're like, yeah, that's pretty good. So this whole expectations has affected me as far as, making me a little bit uh, insecure at times because of, what they expect. So I mention all this because of the clinical study that I wanted to talk about today. That the size of your penis and the length of your penis is correlated to different body part that you would never guess. Again, that's not your hands and feet. So let me discuss this study. It was researchers conducted in Japan, and it was 136 deceased men, people had died between the ages of 30 and 50. So dead guys between ages of 30, 50, and they did an autopsy of the penis about within 3 days after they had died, passed away. So how they do the measurements, that researchers measured the flaccid penis, obviously, and they stretched the penis length. They measured that. They measured the prostate size, testicular weight, prostate weight, and another specific body part, just to see all the correlations. Is it prostate, is it testicle size, and all that. Now they they stretched the penis, the flaccid penis, which would then determine potentially what that penis would be if it was erect. So that's how they do it in urology. The flaccid penis, they stretch it as much as it can go. And they're like, well, that's probably how long it would have been if it was erect. Now, as far as penis length, it grows until adolescence, right? And then remains stable during your middle ages, but then decreases later on in life, like past 50, 60, and 70. Now, why does this happen? Again, it's hormones and its use. For example, if one reason it shrinks is because the guy's testosterone levels come down, hormones come down, estrogen levels go up, and basically he's turning into a little bit of a woman as he gets older. He starts to get man boobs and all that, and that's one reason that penis will shrink as the guy gets older, hormones, and then he's also probably not having sex as much. He's not getting erect as much. Why? Is it chicken or the egg? Is it the testosterone, low testosterone that's causing him not to have sex? And blah, blah, blah. No. Either way, lack of use it or lose it, and lower testosterone levels causes the penis to shrink as he gets older. And I've heard a lot of guys contact me over the years, and I help them fix it. And they're like, hey man, it's getting bigger, it's getting better, and all that stuff. So there's hope. And yes, you can still grow it at any age, even if you're 30s and 20s and stuff. So the study when it relates to the penis size, they did the correlation between the body part and the penile measurement circumference was related. Um, Interesting factor was, again, height, weight, and other measurements were not correlated to penis length, which I told you earlier. Now, the study revealed that nose length was correlated to penile length. Now, what they did was they took the measurements from the base of your nose and they went to the right side, to the right nostril, and then they measured it from the top to the left nostril, And whichever one was longer, then they said, all right, that's the number we're going to use. And they did all the tests. And that's what they found out to be the correlation to the penis length, your nose length. The findings suggested that basically it's determined, your penis length is determined by birth, and it doesn't correlate to age, to height, to weight, and thus it's all genetics. And it's true, but is it all genetics? Can your penis get longer or thicker as an adult? Is it all to genetics, or you're stuck with, what you have? Can your penis grow at any age? And while the fact is, yes, it can grow at any age. I told you about that, earlier, and I'll tell you how you can do this in a minute. Additionally, the hormones produced during pregnancy by the mother and the fetus during puberty also determines the size of your penis. And I also mention this in case you want to get someone pregnant and all this stuff. Obviously, you're like, hey, I'm not a fetus anymore. It doesn't matter. I'll get to the adult part, but just in case you guys are having kids, nevertheless, it's important. So pay attention. Both testosterone and DHT, dihydrotestosterone, DHT, just so you know, that's it converts from testosterone. It's typically correlated to body hair, hair loss, prostate growth. Both these hormones are responsible. I'll get more details about that in a minute. HCG is produced. You guys have talked to me, you heard my videos. If you subscribe, you heard my videos about HCG in the past. If the mother doesn't produce enough HCG, which is what is first produced in pregnant women, in their urine is found. If the woman doesn't produce enough HCG when she's pregnant, she doesn't produce enough testosterone. Because of that, the fetus has a smaller penis. All right. Environmental factors, exposure to endocrine disrupting chemicals such as phthalates and pesticides and phytoestrogens during pregnancy, because estrogen will, lower testosterone, can interfere with the fetal hormonal function. And therefore, it's also linked to reduce penis size and genital abnormalities. So I'll tell you about that more in a minute. Now, the timing to all this is important. Basically, androgen deficiency before 12 weeks of gestation, that means during the first trimester, can lead to ambiguous genitalia, which means that if the mom doesn't have enough testosterone, and during that 3 months, the boy can come out with, I'm not sure, is it a penis or a vagina? That's ambiguity. Now, if there's androgen deficiency after 12 weeks, okay, after the 3 months, the male fetus can have a micro penis. That means a super small one. So the earlier the problem, the bigger the problem, right? So less hormones the first 3 months, you don't even know if it's going to be a boy or girl. You can't tell, even though the XY chromosome says it's a boy. If it's slow, after the 3 months, things going to have a micro penis. So the whole point is, if you're going to have a baby, right, you got to make sure your hormones are optimal, especially for a woman. Make sure she's eating well, she's healthy, she's not nutritional deficient, she's eating natural organic food, she manages stress, she takes specific supplements to make sure everything's optimal and healthy for both the mom and the baby and the fetus, because there are higher incidences these days with boys having smaller penises because of all the estrogen problems and lower testosterone. So keep that in mind. Of course, what does all this have to do with you and me? Hey man, we're adults. Screw the baby. It's too late for me. And growing your penis. Let me explain. And I keep mentioning androgens, male hormones, and penis size. So much so that the way you look and feel, again, has to do with genetics and hormones. At the current time, you can't change our genetics as an adult, maybe CRISPR and so forth soon with AI. But you can always improve and optimize your hormones. Now, remember, your male body produces two primary androgens. The one is testosterone, right? And then the second was DHT, testosterone through 5-alpha reductase converts to DHT. Now, a lot of it is also genetics, how much 5-alpha reductase enzyme you have, and so forth. Both are considered androgens, except DHT is 3 to 5 times more androgenic. Androgen means all the male side effects, okay? Again, such as hair and prostate and, hair loss and body hair growth and so forth. Now, testosterone is androgenic a little bit, but it's mostly anabolic. That means to build muscle. All right. It's needed primarily for muscle growth. DHT is very androgenic. It causes no muscle growth, DHT, because it has more male characteristic problems. Again, the hair and the prostate and so forth. Now, both hormones are required for penis growth. However, if you're missing one of these hormones at a fetus during puberty, the penis won't grow. All right. As a result, one of these hormones decreases. As an adult, your penis will shrink. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. There's men in the Dominican Republic. Here's a cool story that they have no 5 alpha reductase enzyme, right? So they have high testosterone, they have no DHT because the testosterone can't convert to 5 alpha reductase. These men never go bald. They have almost no body hair. They have very little body hair. They never, ever have prostate problems, ever. Yet they have normal to average muscle size. Remember, testosterone grows muscle. However, these men who have no DHT are pseudo hermaphrodites. Basically, they have the XY chromosome and the testicles, but they have ambiguous genitalia, meaning they're not fully male or female, and the testicles are inside their stomach. They never develop. And some of them, when they're young, they're actually raised as girls because they don't know. And then when they hit puberty, things change a little bit. In fact, this is how the drug finasteride, Prostar or Propecia, for hair loss or prostate problems, was first developed for hair loss or prostate growth. They go there and they find out, hey, no DHT, no hair loss, no prostate growth. Great. We're going to find a drug that's going to kill off DHT and we're going to find a solution. And they have. Now, finasteride is a 5 alpha reductase inhibitor and it reduces the conversions to DHT. And this is why guys take it for prostate and hair loss. Now, here's a picture on your screen of these 3 guys, all right? In this image, the man on the left and the man on the right, the 2 guys on the edge, on the ends, they're brothers. Now, the guy in the center is a cousin. Now, the 2 guys on the left had no DHT because they have no 5 alpha reductase enzyme. Ironically, though, they're a little bit more muscular than the guy on the right. Again, remember, they have higher testosterone, but no DHT. And that's because, remember, testosterone grows muscle. Now, the 2 men on the left have no hair loss, and yet they have ambiguous genitalia, like I said. The guy on the right is normal DHT, regular penis and testicles, and has a slightly receding temple and hair loss. And he's not as muscular. Now, I can dig deeper into hormones and muscle growth if you'd like in a future video. Just let me know below in the comments and questions and all. And if you subscribe, I'll talk about all this stuff, hormones and muscle growth, and you get ripped and lean and hair, all that stuff. I love hormones. So again, let me know below in the comments and subscribe so you get notified. Now, during pregnancy, if you have healthy levels of testosterone, the baby will grow it. You need 5 alpha reductase, this stuff that I already told you stuff, right? Now, after birth, okay, what happens? DHT is needed just to initiate the penis to grow, and then the testosterone continues the actual size. There's a massive surge in testosterone during puberty, and that's what ultimately does it. So, what does this all mean for you? Since you're an adult, you're not a fetus, testosterone is more important for penis size, all right? This is why the penis starts to shrink when you get older, lower testosterone levels, coupled with less frequent sex, less erections, and all that stuff. Again, lose it or lose it. Use it or lose it, right? Exercise, to think of it this way, if you want bigger muscles, it's exercise plus high testosterone equals bigger muscles. Same thing with your penis. Specific penis exercises plus higher testosterone equals bigger penis, length, size, and girth, all right? That's the secret, though. You have to have the higher testosterone combined with the specific exercises. That's the catalyst to growth. I went off on this long tangent about hormones. Nevertheless, now you know what hormones cause it. Now you know what causes penis growth. I got an entire email series about this. Just look below in the description area. It's the penis growth secret. It's all free. Everything you need to know to increase your length, your girth, your size, and your erections, and you do so naturally. You can gain a half an inch up to I've had guys gain 2 inches. All right. That's a good amount of size. So with that said, I hope this was helpful. Subscribe, notify, like, do all that stuff, guys.